I got engaged to a blind duke. Episode 117. The capital was buzzing with stories about the Western Duke. They say the Western Duke went mad after losing his sight, the Western Duke commands demon beasts, and the Western Duke lost his sight because he was obsessed with a woman. Marine, who had been listening to Elmis's calm report, widened her eyes at the last statement. What does it have to do with me that Gerald brought demon beasts and put on a show? I'm not sure either. Elmis answered bluntly. Marine nodded with a resigned look in her eyes. Right. Elmis wouldn't know. She had only relayed the rumors circulating outside. If she were to blame anyone, she should blame the Duke who put on such a show. She recalled the day before leaving for the capital when the Duke suddenly said he was going hunting. He said it was a gift, but it was demon beasts. Just as she was shaking her head. Knock knock. At the sound of knocking, Elmis opened the door. Yulia. Yulia entered with a slightly tense face and bowed her head. Mississippi, why did you come up? Are you feeling all right? Yes. I've recovered a lot and want to work. Yulia whispered in a dejected voice while glancing at Elmis. I told you to rest until you're completely better. Even though I can't lift heavy things yet, I can serve tea. And I heard rumors. What rumors? They say demon beasts are targeting you, Mississippi. Such rumors are spreading too? Marine shook her head in frustration at the absurd rumors that kept multiplying. I'm so worried about you, miss, that I can't even sleep well. Just let me stay by your side. Please? Yulia clasped her hands together and pleaded earnestly. Even if demon beasts appear, I'll protect miss, so you go and rest. Elmis, who had been listening from the side, spoke in a stiff tone. I know. But when it's really dangerous, I can sacrifice my body to protect her like last time. I'm a maid who serves miss. Yulia hunched her shoulders but didn't stutter and stuck to her opinion until the end. If you sacrifice your body, then I have no reason to be here. Elmis countered with a stern face. Still, I'll handle the protecting, so you just make delicious tea. Huh? Yulia blinked slowly and asked back. Marine couldn't help but laugh watching this scene. Yulia. As I said before, sacrificing your body to protect me is forbidden. I'll just ask you to serve tea from now on. Yes. Yulia relaxed her stiff shoulders with a face that showed she had succeeded. A faint smile also appeared on Elmis's lips. Marine didn't miss that expression. Even though she spoke bluntly, it seemed she had taken a liking to Yulia. The emperor sat in his office and looked at two letters on his desk with a displeased expression. One was from the empress, and one was sent by the crown prince. Though written at length, the content of both letters was the same. They were asking him to accept Lady Dia Audria as the crown princess. Count Audria's family, he didn't want to see things go the crown prince's way, but the Western Duke's prowess lingered before his eyes like an afterimage for a long time. Could Lady Audria become a leash for that fierce beast? The emperor muttered to himself. I'm not sure about a leash, but it would be better than having nothing at all. The emperor's gaze fell on the elderly chief attendant. He was someone who hadn't fled even in front of demon beasts and stayed by his side. His loyalty and wisdom were sometimes helpful. Send a marriage proposal to the Western Duke. Yes. The chief attendant bowed his head and answered, approving of the emperor's wise choice. Knock knock. When knocking was heard, the chief attendant quickly left the office. It's the Eastern Minor Duke. The emperor hid his irritated look and watched the Eastern Minor Duke enter the office. Have you been well, Your Majesty? Does it look like I have? I only wish for Your Majesty to always be at peace. The Eastern Minor Duke spoke with a smiling face. What brings you here? I was worried that Your Majesty's mood might be troubled, so I came to visit. At the Eastern Minor Duke's words claiming it was purely out of loyalty, a cold sneer formed on the emperor's lips. Eastern Minor Duke. Don't you think the Western Duke has gone mad? The Eastern Minor Duke's shoulders flinched, but he still maintained his good-natured smile. I'm not sure. The Emperor continued while looking at the Eastern Minor Duke's smiling face. Do you know what's scarier than a mad dog? I'm not sure. A wounded dog. You'll have to be careful not to get bitten, Eastern Minor Duke. What would I have to be careful about? The Eastern Minor Duke burst into hearty laughter. Then that's fortunate. Now go. I am tired. Yes. The Emperor's displeased gaze pierced the Eastern Minor Duke's retreating figure. He had thought him quite a useful piece, but now it seemed the time had come to discard him. Eastern Minor Duke Morone maintained his good-natured smile until he left the imperial palace. But the moment he got into the carriage, that smile disappeared as if washed away. Let's go. When his retainer tapped the side of the carriage, it began to move slowly. The carriage entered a secluded alley and stopped. Morone's clothes, which he had worn to go to the imperial palace, had changed to shabby clothes when he got out of the carriage. Morone immediately transferred to an inconspicuous cargo carriage. The cargo carriage moved slowly and stopped at a shabby inn. Morone, his face hidden by a deeply pulled-down hat, entered the inn and then came out through the back door. His clothes had changed again to those worn by farmers. Morone rode a horse and left the inn. The horse carrying him galloped quickly toward the capital outskirts forest. When he entered the safe house deep in the forest, Jelmia, who had been disinfecting her shoulder, jumped up and put on her clothes properly. Lord! She embraced him with a bright smile. My lord! My lover! Though she had come to love him who had taken in and raised her when she was an orphan, she never forgot for a moment that he was her lord. Morone looked down at her shoulder with pitying eyes. Are you all right? I'm fine. However, Jelmia's voice was deep like a man's. Sensing this herself, she quickly removed the earrings that were a voice-changing device. You're probably the only person who survived being struck by the Western Duke's sword. He. Since I have my lord, luck must follow me. Jelmia smiled lovingly. Though she had attacked the Western Duke and been struck by his sword twice, she had ultimately survived and was able to meet her lord. After gazing deeply at Jelmia's face for a moment, a rough voice burst from Morone's mouth. The Western Duke has completely lost his mind. I heard the rumors. A subordinate who brought food to the safe house had told them that the Western Duke had brought a demon beast to the imperial palace. Had he really gone insane? Could killing the Count and Countess be the cause? Didn't he go blind? It would be hard to live with a sound mind. I thought if I shook the Western Duke and offered the profits to the Emperor, I could receive the Eastern Duke title more easily. The Emperor had noticed my plan all along but didn't particularly stop me. But now he's warning me because he's afraid of the Western Duke. Telling me to be careful. Lord, Jelmia looked at Morone with worried eyes. Morone lifted Jelmia's chin with his thick hand. Jelmia. Do you know what medicine is for a madman? I don't know. Her answer resembled the answer he had given to the Emperor, making him laugh. Morone handed Jelmia the note he had kept in his pocket. Jelmia's eyes widened slightly upon seeing the note, then she put it in her mouth and swallowed it. Jelmia and Morone's eyes met in the air. Jelmia smiled and nodded. Just as she was about to put on the mask that was on the table. It's the Western Duke. Attack simultaneously. Subordinates had been positioned like a net around the safe house, but their screams could be heard sporadically. Jelmia looked at Morone with urgent eyes. The safe house seems to have been breached. Lord, you must escape quickly.